Good to go. We can go ahead. We'll get going with our warm up. So weights, a band, and a chair. And here we go. 30 jumping jacks when you're ready. $30 total. Once you get 30, shake it on out. Stand up tall. Let's look over our right shoulder. Deep breath. Looking over our left shoulder. Back to center. We're going to tilt our right ear down toward the right shoulder. And then left ear to left shoulder. Coming back to center, you're going to do your head rolls. Just add people in the waiting room here. So 3 head rolls around, down and around to the right. And then 3 around to the left. Take your time, keep your eyes open. And back to center. Let's work our way down to our shoulders. Shoulder rolls up, around, and forward. Get about 4 or 5 in, and then you can start to incorporate your elbows. And then big arm circles all the way up, around, and forward. Two more. And then let's just reverse up, around, and back with the shoulders first. And then you can start to incorporate your elbows. And then big arm circles up, around, and back. Two more. And then arms out to the side, swing them in front. Nice and easy, opening up the palms as you swing out. Feeling that stretch across your chest. 3 more. All right, shake those arms out. Let's move down to our hips, hip hinges, feet underneath your hips, knees unlocked, hands to your hip bones. Send your hips back, feel that stretch in the backs of your legs. Warming up the hamstrings. Two more. And standing it on up, we're gonna go into our wide leg hip stretch. We're gonna be using this actually in one of our movements today. So nice and wide, hands to the hips. Let's tilt our right hip up and to the side. Both legs are straight here. Feel that stretch on your inner thigh. And come back through center. Let's tilt opposite side, left up and to the side. And bring it back to center, walk those feet in just a couple inches. We're gonna go to our hip rolls to the left, front, side, and back. 3 to the left. And then we'll reverse 3 to the right. Opposite way around. Once you get your 3 and your 3, bring those feet right back underneath your hips. Let's do our knee circles, hands to your kneecaps, knees unlocked. Dip it down and around to the right. And then reverse that direction down and around to the left. One more. Slowly roll it on up. Let's go into our calf stretch, or calf and our hip flexor. So lunge stance. Remember with this one, back leg straight, front leg bend and extend. Make sure your feet are far enough apart that you can feel the stretch in the back calf, but not so far that your heel starts coming up. Couple breaths. 2 more. And switch, opposite side, opposite leg forward, opposite leg back. Bend and extend, same thing, back heel drives down into the floor, feeling that stretch. 2 more. And coming back through center. Let's just work those ankles, point and flex right foot. And then let's circle around to the right and reverse circle around to the left. And then switch sides, point and flex and circle. And shake it on out. Grab some water if you guys need to. So tonight we're gonna start with a new movement. And I haven't done with you guys before. It's called a windmill. It's a core movement, but it's one of those movements where you're actually kind of using your whole body at the same time, but you're also using your core quite a bit. So it's called a windmill because that's what you want to kind of picture your body is doing. It'll make more sense when you see what my arms and my legs are doing, but you're gonna take that really wide stance. So I told you we're gonna be using that kind of hip hinge motion, that tilt motion that we do in warm up. So it's gonna be similar to that. So you're gonna take your feet nice and wide, and then one foot is gonna point straight forward. So this time I have my right foot pointed forward. My left foot is gonna be turned out to the side, okay? So one is forward, one's out to the side. We are gonna do this at the one side versus the other side, so we will switch. I'll show it to you without weight first. So what you're gonna do is the foot that's pointed forward, that arm is gonna come straight up over your head, locked out like you just did an overhead press, okay? The other hand is gonna come on the inside of the thigh, and you wanna rotate your hand, supinate it, so that your palm is faced out, okay? So this is your starting position. From here, it starts the same way we start that stretch. You're gonna pop your hip out to the side. So the foot that's forward, the arms overhead, you're gonna pop that hip just like we did with that stretch, okay? So you start to kind of lean that weight into that right side. From here, you're gonna keep pushing that hand up to the ceiling, but with this other hand, you're gonna reach down towards your ankle. This is why it's called a windmill. You kind of look like a windmill at the end of this movement, okay? So you should be feeling in this position. Imagine you got a wall in front of you and a wall behind you. So when you move, you don't want to think of twisting, okay? You don't want to be twisting and rotating down this way. You want to keep your chest facing forward, and you want to reach down to the side. Those of you guys that do yoga, extended side angle, this is the fitness version of an extended side angle, okay? So in this movement here, especially if you're taller, it's okay for this leg to bend, the one that's pointed out to the side, to get you down a little bit lower. It's not okay for this leg to bend. So your leg with the arm that's straight, that's got to be completely locked out. The other leg, you can add a little bend to it, okay? So that's kind of think your side lunge a little bit. You can bend a little bit there if you have to. Don't bend this other leg. Okay, so from here, this is what the motion looks like. You start in this position, you reach down, 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 down as far as you can. If you can get down to around your ankle, you're gonna get there, and then you're gonna pull, and you're gonna come back up to starting. Notice what happens with this arm. This arm does not do a waving motion. This one stays hand up to the ceiling the whole time. So I move away from that arm, and I move back into it. So I end with my arm overhead. 2 ways to do this exercise. Because it's new tonight, I encourage you to take the weight and just keep it low, okay? So this is kind of how I want you to do it, at least in this first set, is that hand, instead of having no weight, that's gonna be the hand rotated out that you're gonna hold your weight in. I want you to just keep this arm locked out for now, okay? So you're gonna pop the hip out to the side, you're gonna reach that weight down as close to the ankle as you can, and then you're gonna pull. You're gonna come back up to standing. We're gonna try this for 8 each side. So grab that weight, holding it, keeping that arm out. You're gonna reach, reach, reach. You might not get all the way down to your ankle. It depends on your flexibility. Pull, come back up to center. Reach and pull. Trying to keep that chest forward the whole time. So it's slow on the way down, a little faster on the way up. Good. Kind of feeling this in the side of your body. Once you get 8, you're switching. We're doing the exact same thing. So first thing you want to do is rotate your feet. So now I've got my left leg pointed forward, my right leg pointed out to the side. Opposite hand has the weight, opposite hand comes right by my ear, up to the side. Now I'm moving my hip the opposite direction, so I'm pushing it out to the left, reaching down, and I'm pulling them coming back up. You might find you have more flexibility in the side body on one of your sides versus the other. Pretty common. So just move within your range of motion. And breathe. Remember, we're going for 8. Once you get 8, carefully bring those feet together. Set that weight down. Relax. You should be feeling a whole lot going on here in the sides, like along your obliques, but all the way up almost into your lats, okay? A lot's going on to stabilize in the sides of your body. That's where you should mostly be feeling it. You're gonna feel the stretch in your hip because like we do in the warm-up, you are kind of stretching that hip, but that tension from that weight is kind of focused right here. So eventually, and I will show you this, and those of you guys have been doing yoga for a while, you might be faster. You might move faster with this just because this is a common pose for you. But eventually what you can do is you can take a weight and you can actually put it in that locked out arm that's overhead, okay? The key with this is, remember, it needs to be pointed to the ceiling the whole time. So this gets a lot harder because when you go to do this, you're moving away, arm stays up to the ceiling. This is a little bit more unstable. And then I have to move directly back into that same position. So I can't be doing the YMCA. But those of you guys that have been doing yoga for a while, you might be able to try it. You might have a little bit more stability there. Eventually also, what you can do is you can have one up, one down. The key is if you have a weight that's over your head, really in any exercise, but especially in this exercise, you are always looking at the weight overhead, okay? Don't look at the floor, okay? Because if you've got a weight overhead, the second you start looking at the floor, this arm's gonna start to like wander. And it can be up, it can be behind you and it's gonna pull your back, or it can go out to the side, it's gonna pull on your shoulder. So if you do try it with the arm overhead, make sure your eyes are glued to the object over your head. Okay, so as we go into second set, I'm gonna keep it low today, but I just wanted to point it out there because I think some of you guys might actually be okay to try the overhead motion if you choose, completely up to you. Well, let's go for second set. So I've got my right foot facing forward, my left foot facing out. By the way, taller people take a wider stance. It also is gonna help with your range of motion. You're naturally gonna be closer to the floor the wider that you go. And remember that that outside leg can do a little bit of bending. Right arm overhead. I push my right hip out. I reach down for my left ankle. I pull, I come back up to center. So I got that weight overhead. Actually, I'm just kind of accustomed to always looking up towards that hand. It's kind of a good habit to make, even if you don't have weight, so that when you're ready to add that weight, you're naturally used to looking up for it. Eight on one side. Once you reach your 8, remember, fix your feet first. Left leg forward, right leg to the side. Rotate that palm out, other arms up in the air. Push the hip. The hip gives you the ability to move down towards the ankle. So that's step 1, pop the hip and reach. Pop the hip and reach. Once you get 8, you can set that weight down, 8 each side. Shake it on out. We're gonna take a mini break there. I feel that all along this side body here. Hopefully that's where you guys are feeling it too. Really great for kind of that oblique area, but also kind of, it gets into that low back region too that we need to strengthen. Interesting enough, there's a lot of yoga positions. I found this between Noko and I working out together and working together for so long. There's so many yoga positions where if you add a weight, it becomes a strength exercise. I'm like, oh, I know how to do that, but I know how to do that with a weight. But it's always different. If you ask me to hang out here for an extended amount of time, that's way harder for me. But if I ask Naoko to do a windmill, it's way harder for her. It's funny. We just kind of get used to our elements, but they do blend quite a bit. So this is kind of tying into both that yoga flexibility, range of motion, but then also adding that strength component, which is why we're here tonight. All right, if you guys are ready, we're gonna go for this one more time. So I got my right leg forward, my left leg out to the side, rotating my left palm forward. Right arm comes overhead. If you've got that weight, remember, eyes are up. Pop your right hip. That gives you the ability to reach down, pull, come back up to center. Last 8 each side. Make sure you're breathing. Every time we work our core, try not to hold your breath. It's easy sometimes because we're trying to tighten everything, but inhale in and out. Switching to that opposite side. Remember, you're a windmill. Keep the chest forward. Eight and 8. Nice job, guys. That might have felt a little foreign to you, but it's a new movement. I like to throw new things in every once in a while because it challenges us, makes us feel things a little bit differently. So next motion, these are two things you're familiar with. You're just not familiar with doing them together. So we're going to combine our lateral lunge with a front raise. For this, I would suggest just doing one bell if you have kind of medium weight bells, or if you got 2 light dumbbells. You could also do this with 2 light dumbbells. So you're going to start at one end of your mat. What's going to happen is your arms are going to come out in a front raise at the same time as you do your lateral lunge. So we're combining them together. It looks like this. I step out with my right, my arms come up, I sit back. Okay, this is my midway like shot. And then I press up, I come back, feet together, okay? So as the knee bends, as you sit back, arms are out. As you come up, push the floor away and everything comes back together so that you end in this position where the weight is down and your legs are together. We press out, we come back, okay? We're just gonna be doing 8 each side with this because it's a little bit of a combination movement. So starting at one end of the mat, I'm gonna step out with my right leg first. So I'm stepping out, I'm reaching my arms. I'm pressing back together, that's 1. Stepping out, reaching my arms forward and back. Inhale, exhale. So make sure you're taking that long step. Once you get 8, flip around, give yourself a moment to be on the other side of your mat. And then we're doing the exact same thing. We got 8 on our second side. Eight and 8. Once you get 8 and 8, set that weight down. Take your breather, grab some water. You might be wondering why that feels way harder than doing a normal lateral lunge. You might even do lateral lunge with 2 dumbbells like this, how we normally do them. The reason it's harder is because when your arms are extended away from your body, you have a whole lot less control and leverage, okay? So when something's close to your body, like when we hold the weight right by our leg, it's easier for me to push off when I got this weight close. Everything is compacted right over this leg and I push back. But suddenly now I've got weight going here and I have weight out here. That makes me a little bit more unstable when I push back. So it does require you to really drive into that side of that foot to press off and drive those arms down at the same time. Both of those motions, like driving the arms down and driving that foot into the floor, that's when it's going to get you back to center. It is going to feel a little bit more challenging though, just because we're in this extended position instead of a close to the body position. So if you need to drop your weight, if you're able to do that, or if you need to just grab a different object, that's totally fine. We are going to do 3 sets of these. So if you guys are ready, let's go for round 2. So stepping out, reaching with the arms, we press back to center, really push away that floor. 8 only, remember. Once you get 8, just take some time, walk to the other side of your mat, get yourself set up. Front raise and lateral lunge. Drive against that floor, push those arms down. Eight and 8. Set your weight down, relax, shake it on out. 2 down, 1 to go. These are the more complicated movements. I put them all at the beginning where we have more brain power and energy. We'll keep the more simple things as we go. The best way to think about your workout. If you're ever trying something new, like a new exercise, that's a good way to do it. Put it at the beginning of your workout. Don't wait to the end because your brain is tired, your body is tired. It's not the best time to do something that's brand new. You want to do it when you're fresh and ready to go. All righty. One more time, guys. Lateral lunge. Extend those arms out. Remember, drive down with the arms. Push back from the side of that foot. Last time, 8 each side. Eight each side. So once you get 8 on one, give yourself a moment, switch. Let's go right into the 8 on the second side. Eight and 8. All righty. Once you get done, shake it out. Catch your breath. The lunges are done. All right. Now we're going to get into our normal superset routine. So our 2 exercises back to back. This first one, it's going to be a combination movement. This one, we're going to do a squat. And immediately after your squat, I want you to come up to standing position and give me a calf raise. So it's just a little bit added on to that squat. So we're going to do dumbbells by your sides. You're going to do squat down, stand, pause for a second, up on the toes and down. So that would be 1 repetition. So just down, up, quick, up on the toes, just to add a little bit of calf into our squats tonight. So we're going to do 10 of them total, 2 weights, either side of the body. Take that moment to make sure that you're balanced before you go into the calf raise. So what I don't want you to do is like not have your balance, because you're going to be sitting back for your squat. You're going to come up and then you go forward for your calf raise. So if you're not balanced, you'll shoot yourself forward, right? So quick pause in between the squat and the calf raise. So here we go. We're going to try for it. We're squatting down, hips back, knees out, come up, and then quick up on the toes. Squat down, up, pause, up on the toes. Thinking about both as separate movements. Thinking about the technique of each. Sitting back, chest up. Ten total. Once you guys get your 10, you can set your weights a little off to the side there. Because our second motion, this is where you're going to need your band. We're doing pull aparts, so you're going to be grabbing onto the band part itself, so it doesn't matter what kind of band you use, but one that's not looped is probably better. Okay, so pull aparts, these are the ones different than the lat pull downs that come straight out from the chest. Roll the shoulders down, elbows are unlocked. You want to start about your shoulder width distance. Remember, closer hands are going to be harder. Farther apart hands will make it a little easier. From here, start with a little tension. We pull all the way out to the side, all the way till the band touches the top of your chest. Keep that tension. back to center. These we're doing for 12. Out to the side, squeeze those shoulder blades, and then release forward. And breathe. Adjust the tension if it's not appropriate. Keep those shoulders down. And 12. Should feel that fire on the backs of your shoulders. Set the weights down, roll them out, shake them out a little bit if you need to. Same thing. We're going to do a round of 3 sets for each of those. Oh, now I'm feeling the sweat. Just a little bit. It's been nice. It's cool. So I'm getting a little bit of breeze tonight coming into the garage. Not much, but a little. Every little bit helps. Teresa knows I was teaching a class for Blue Zones yesterday. It was at 12 noon, and it was like a whole different experience out here. It was very sunny. It was a lot hotter. I'm like, whew, this is why I like teaching at 5:30. Sun starts going down. All right, second set, squats and calf raise, guys. Whenever you guys are ready, squatting down, knees out to the side, hips back. Quick pause, get up on those toes. Ten total. Once you guys reach your 10, carefully set those weights out to the side. Go ahead, grab that band. Second set, pull apart. Evaluate how you felt first round. If it wasn't hard enough, get those hands a little closer together this round. If it was too hard, just walk those hands out a little further. Arms start out from the chest, shoulders are down away from your ears, relax, elbows are unlocked. Pull out to the side, band touches the top of your chest, and release. These ones are for 12. Breathe. All right. 12, set that band down, rest, roll out those shoulders a little bit, give them a moment. Grab water if you guys need. Ideally, by the way, water hydration. For you guys that take an hour class, your goal should probably be to drink about 20 ounces of water in this class. Think about like 10 ounces of water every 30-ish minutes. If you're like tend to be on the bigger side and you need a higher water intake, it might be a little more than that. If you're smaller, maybe a little less than that. But for my little guys over there, is about 20 ounces. So that's kind of my goal when I teach is to drink about that amount of water. Sometimes it doesn't work so well because sometimes I get talking and forget what I'm doing, but ideally that's the goal. All right, guys, last time through, squats and calf raises, hips back, chest up on those toes. And total. Once you reach 10, weights out to the side, grabbing that band last time through, pull apart. Alrighty, remember close together, gives you more tension. Roll those shoulders down, unlock the elbows. Last 12 here, pull and squeeze. Keep those shoulders away from your ears. 12. All righty, guys. Once you reach 12, you guys can set your bands out to the side. That was our only band movement that I had for tonight. Coming up, this next superset, this is where you're gonna need your chair. So if you need to go grab it, please do. Just gonna position mine here. So we're gonna do 2 different exercises. You just need 1 weight. Both of these are gonna be single-sided. One of them is gonna be lower body. The next one's gonna be an upper body. So the first one we're gonna do is a seated leg extension with a dumbbell. We've done these before. So 2 ways you can hold your weight on your leg. So we've done this one in the past where you've kind of held it long way against your leg. Hopefully you guys can see that. Lift the leg off the ground, extend back and down. Another way to do this that's a little bit more challenging is to take the weight upwards and put it not on your kneecap, but right behind your kneecap and hold it there. The reason why this is a little harder, kind of the same concept as when we do those lateral lunges, the weight comes out to the side. Now you're loading all the weight farther away from the middle of your body. A little bit harder to lift that up, okay? So 2 ways, whatever's right for you and depends on what kind of dumbbells you have at home or weights. You can lay it flat on your thigh. The hand is just there to balance, by the way. Don't be like lifting it off your leg. Don't give yourself that help. It's just there to make sure that it doesn't roll off. Same thing, if it's out of the end of your leg, I'm just holding it there barely just to make sure it stays when I do my exercise. So I lift my knee off the ground, I extend my leg out all the way, squeeze, and then I lower down. Remember with this one, when you lift, no leaning back. Because if you lean back, you're not using your leg at all. You're just kind of, changing that angle. Okay, so sit up nice and tall, lift the leg, extend out, flex the foot, come back down, tap down. We're gonna do 10 each side. So when you're ready, you can start. I'm on my right side now. Squeeze every time when you extend. Should feel this in the top of that leg. Whew. Once you get 10 on one side, all you're gonna do is switch. And however you had the weight on the one side, I want you to do the same on the other side, regardless of which is stronger, okay? The same way. Flex that foot. Ten and 10. Once you get 10 and 10, you can bring that weight up if you want to even it out. I'm always surprised at that one, how much you feel that just by sitting and put a little weight on that outside of your foot. Okay, we're gonna give the legs a little bit of a rest. We're gonna do overhead tricep extension. Today we're gonna focus one arm at a time, okay? So when you do one arm, you're gonna grab the weight with one arm. Your arm's gonna start overhead, kind of like you did for an overhead press. I highly suggest taking your free hand and grabbing that space right below your elbow to help stabilize it and keep this from moving all around. Because we really want that elbow to your shoulder stay in the one spot. You're gonna bend back towards the back of your head. You're gonna extend that arm, press straight up to the ceiling, okay? So my goal for you guys is anywhere between 8 to 10 repetitions. With my weight, just a little bit of moderate weight. I'm gonna do 8 on each side. If you've got a lighter weight, maybe throw those extra 2 on. Completely up to you, but we're gonna start right arm extended overhead, supporting the elbow with the left. We bend back, and then we extend straight up. Inhale, lower, exhale, extend. Eight to 10. The other benefit of kind of holding on to that elbow is you can feel your tricep kind of contracting and relaxing. Once you get one side, you can switch over to the other. Remember, support. Now I've got my right arm supporting my left, bending back, extending straight up. Oh, I just did 10. See, I didn't even know my own strength. That means I got to do 10, guys. Oh, now I got to fix my right arm. I can't be lopsided. There we go. See, sometimes when you forget to count, it actually shows you what you're capable of, because sometimes we just stop because we're like, okay, I'm just going to 10 or I'm just going to 12. We never test the waters to see if we can do more. I thought I could only do 8. Apparently I can do 10. Well, that shows me what I got to do from here on out. So if you were someone that stopped at 8, maybe you try for 10 next time. Maybe you can do 10. All right, because we're doing one-sided of each, we're getting kind of a break in between as we go. So we're gonna go right back into these leg extensions. So let's load up that right leg, sitting up nice and tall. Lift that knee, extend out, coming back down, tap down. We're doing 10 each side here. Flex that foot. 10. Once you get your 10, you can shake out that one leg if you need to a little bit. Load up that second side, left side, lift, extend, flex, lower down. Lift, extend, flex, lower down. No leaning back, keep that back straight. Ten and 10. Once you get 10 both sides, shake out the legs for just a moment. And we're gonna get right back into those tricep extensions. So we're starting right arm extended, left hand is supporting. We're bending back, extending straight up. Second time on our right side. This time I went for the 10, then stop for the 8. If you're able to do the 10, do the 10. If you're not, that's fine. If you need to stop at 8, stop where what's appropriate for you. It's always important to try it out. Try those extra repetitions on for size. Generally speaking, in this class, usually we do repetitions between, it's usually 10 to 12, sometimes it's 8. If you guys are feeling like in that range that you could do 15 to 17 repetitions, your weight is too light. It would be time to maybe do some shop around for some new weight. So think about that. Like if it was all of our exercises that we're doing, if there's a lot, like if there's like multiple exercises in every class that you feel like you could do like 15 to 17, not in fit. Fit is different. Sometimes we do high reps in fit. But in this class, if you could do like 15, 17, 20, it's time to invest in some heavier weights. All right, last time around, going forward on my right side. Ten and 10. Don't get rid of the light weights though. You guys know in fit class, sometimes it's necessary. When I give you guys those 1 minute intervals, you get a lot more than, you might get 30 reps in. And each side, lowering down, flex. All right, shake up those legs, give them a unwind for a second. Then we got to get right into our last set of tricep extensions, single arm, right arm extends, left arm supports. Keep that elbow close to your head if you can. 10. Those last two are a little tough, but if you can do them, do them. 10, 10, 10, 10. All righty, guys. Once you get 10, both sides of those triceps, set your weight off to the side, and then you might want to move your chair out of the way. Well, I forgot to mention, you do need a mat. Sorry, guys. Hopefully you have a mat nearby, or you can lay on the floor or something. This last motion, this is our last exercise of the night. It's going to be a combination movement. We're going to do two things at once. You do need a pair of weights, so make sure they're nearby, and then we're going to drop it down to the mat. And I shall explain. Move out of the way. I should explain what we're doing. So what we're going to do on the mat is we're combining a glute bridge with a chest press, okay? So your glute bridge, just to remind you, your heels in towards your butt, you lift your hips off the mat. So what we're going to be doing for this is we're going to actually isometrically hold our glute bridge, okay? So once the hips come off the mat, you're going to, as high as you can go, squeeze your butt, you're up on your shoulder blades, you're going to stay there, okay? And then here, you're going to have your weights, elbows are going to angle out to the side, you're going to keep pushing your hips up to the ceiling, and we're going to add on a chest press. So we're pressing over our chest, and we're coming back down, keeping the hips up the whole time. So the hips, the low back, the core is going to get involved, okay? We're going to do 12. We lower down, we rest, relax. 3 sets of this, guy. Combination movement. These are our last ones that we'll do tonight. So if you're on the floor, hopefully you've made it down here by now, grab those weights. Get your weights in position first before you go into your hip bridge. That way you're good and ready to go, angled out to the side. Heels in towards your butt. Get those hips lifted off the floor. Squeeze as hard as you can, and then start to press. Chest press over your chest. We're doing 12. Keep breathing. Keep those hips going up to the sky. Once you get 12, lower down. Bring your hips back down to the mat. Bring your weights down to the mat. Benefits to doing that as well is you kind of create this effect on your body, almost like if you're doing this on a bench. You're getting your chest up higher. You're able to get your arms down a little lower too on your chest press. So kind of some double benefits, also getting the lower body and core benefit. One thing when you're holding a glute bridge, you can really think about the form of your glute bridge. So I want you to think, keep your knees, your hips, your knees, and your feet should all be the same distance apart. So sometimes when we press up in a glute bridge, our knees want to kind of splay out to the side, and you start rotating on the outside of your feet. Here you go. Here's another yoga mind thought. Think like you have a yoga block or a ball or something in between your knees, and you're actively trying to squeeze your knees inward as you go. I don't want them touching, but there's a difference of coming up and feeling like your knees are wider than your hips, and then bringing your knees so that there's the distance of your hips. You should actively feel like you have to bring those legs closer together, okay? And then you start to feel that a little bit more on the inner and outer portions of your thighs. So you're gonna be spending some time in that held position, so that's why I'm mentioning it and bringing it up, is to make sure that form for your glute bridge is great as well. So let's think about that as we get prepped for our second set. So angled out to the side, our arms are ready to do a chest press, and then we lift up to that glute bridge, actively pull those knees closer together, feel that squeeze, and then you go for your 12. Inhale, exhale. Get those hips up. And then you can carefully lower the hips down, waist down to the side. If you'd like, you can either stretch out your arms, stretch out your legs a little bit here. Full body stretch, just uncurl everything. And then bringing your feet back in. We got one more set. Let's grab those weights again. Let's get ready for our chest press. So our elbows are angled out to the side. Hands are right outside of our chest. Feet are hip width distance. Knees are hip width distance. Lift those hips. Actively pull those knees in. And last set of 12. Total. Set those weights down, lower those hips down. If you need to do one more long stretch here, stretch out those arms, stretch out those legs. And then when you're ready, you guys can carefully start coming off of the mat. You can set your weights off to the side. Grab that chair again for some seated stretching. All right. Making our way back into seated position. Let's extend right leg out, heel down, toe up, leaning forward, flat back. Deep breath here. And when you're ready, switching sides, left leg out, heel down, toe up. And then coming in, right leg up over left. Let's open up that hip. Feel that drop away. Let's stretch all the way up in your piriformis. Now let's take the left hand over the right leg, looking over the right shoulder. And then coming back, untwist, let's switch sides. Left leg up above right. Feel that hip opening stretch first. And then when you're ready, add that spinal twist, right hand on the outside of the left leg, looking over your left, your left shoulder. Forgetting my rights and lefts. And coming back to center, untwisting that leg. Again, just shaking them out a little bit more. Sitting up nice and tall. Let's bring our right arm across our body. And then switch, swing it out. Left arm across the body. And then two hands, bring them behind your back, drop the shoulders down, pull those hands down and away from your low back, open up the chest. Stretch out that neck. And then release the hands, arms come forward, round the back. Couple deep breaths here. And then arms overhead, reach up to the ceiling. And then right hand grabbing left, let's reach over to the right. And left hand grabbing right, let's reach over to the left. And back through center one more time, let's reach up to the ceiling. Big inhale. And exhale, everything out. Excellent job, guys. As always, thank you so much for hanging out and joining.
Thanks, Lily.